Right, welcome back guys. WALOB episode 24. We're going to be getting rid of the old calipers on the Stagea and fitting the new ones that we just finished reassembling. I'm going to start with the rears, and I'm actually going to start with the one on the passenger side because that's the furthest away from the reservoir. First thing, well, now that I'm all jacked up and everything, first thing I'm going to do while the calipers are still attached is just crack the banjo bolt and then retighten it. Because I need that freed up, and if the caliper's floating around that might be a bit tricky to do later on. Yeah, so other thing that I'm going to do is bleed the brakes before I put the new calipers on. I don't know how long this fluid's been in here, but I'm going to be changing the fluid anyway, and rather than running old fluid through fresh calipers, I thought I'd blast out all the fluid to start with. Fortunately today I've got the apprentice helping me. Say hello, Roo.
Hi.
So he'll be very useful for when it comes to pumping the brakes and just learning how to change calipers. So I'm going to jump over to the other side now, or while I'm here actually I'm going to crack that one. I'll let you know what size it is in a minute. Then I know that that's done. And yeah, get them bled. One thing that I do need to do is something with these dust shields. I think meant to kind of cut the lip off. I might see how well they work just swapping them left to right so that the shield sticks out like there. I think it might work. I'll try that before cutting it. Other things while I'm here, I'm going to put a bit of Q rust on here. Unfortunately, when I rolled my arch, I split the paint, and I did put something on it at the time, but it clearly didn't work very well. So, just going to give this a light sand, get some Q rust on there to seal it a bit, and maybe see whether any of my friends that are good with paint can come and help and get this sealed up nicer. Coolio, right, let's crack on. So I got the banjo bolts cracked. They were a 12mm in the end, and also got the bleed nipples on the calipers cracked as well. They were an 8mm, and I've just topped up the reservoir as much as it will take. Now I'm going to go back to the caliper end and get rigged up with the pot to catch the excess fluid. I'm all rigged up to the end. Got my 8mm spanner on there, ring end on. Made a little adapter out of a bit of fuel pipe, and then into my collection bottle down here. I've got some random fluid in there just so that the pipe's submerged. That way there's no chance of any air bubbles getting sucked up. That's a really important thing to do. And I have just put some old fluid, not old, but unused old fluid in there rather than the stuff that we're putting in the reservoir end. So I'm now going to get Roo to pump the brakes 5 times and hold the pedal, and then I'm going to crack it and see what comes out. Then we'll do the whole push down, quarter turn, lock. Okay, got both sides bled pretty easy. Big thanks to Rupert. Now I'm going to whip the calipers off. It's a 19mm bolt, and there's 2 of them. I'm not going to worry about splitting them and taking pads out. I'm just going to crack them and get them off. I've got a zip tie ready. I'm going to tie it up on the hard line up here so it's nice and out of the way, because I don't want to disconnect it just yet until the new caliper's on there and we're all hunky-dory. So I'm going to do this on each side and bounce back and forth, because I do want to offer these up on the other side just to save cutting them. I'm pretty sure that they will actually be alright if they suck out a little bit. So we'll try that. Right, got the edge cut off of both sides. Unfortunately didn't have any black paint, so chucked on some anthracite, so it's going to have a bit of a silver tinge to it, but you're not going to see it anyway. Butchered it a little bit, but hey, angle grinder life. Paint is now dry on this side, just on the other side, so I'm going to start assembling this corner. So I got the disc ready to go on. Got lots of brake cleaner to give that a nice big clean, and then I'll run and grab the caliper and get that bolted up. Right, discs are on, caliper is on. Gonna go and get the bleed nipples now, get them in, get the pads, pins, springs and things all in there, and then once that's all good, I'll then swap over the line feeding it and we'll get this one bled. So before I put in the nipple, I'm just going to put a bit of copper slip on the thread, just to help prevent it from seizing, and I don't want a repeat of what got us here in the first place. So we'll get that sorted and yeah, carry on. So nipples all in, time to do the pads, and I think this is what I'm most excited about the Brembos, is being able to slot pads in and out from the top and not have to take the caliper out whenever you need to change them. So I'm going to get them all in and then get the line swapped across. Oh yeah, pads, springs, pins and clips in. So now just a case of swapping out the hard line and bleeding it through. Alright, sorry for the skip in video. We had quite bad rain yesterday, so lost an hour and a bit. So cracked on and got everything done, and unfortunately it didn't end well. All seemed okay when we were testing it before we went out for a drive, and then when we came back there was lots of splodges all around the rim, so it's clearly leaking. This morning I can see that it's kind of oozing out of the bleed nipple, and they're tight, so I can only assume it's where I had to drill and tap it before. Now I had already clocked that one of the front ones, oh they look so good, I had already clocked that one of the front ones wasn't right, so I have got a helicoil set. So I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to have a go at helicoiling the nipples. I really hope that it's not, because that's kind of repairable. I really hope that it's not seeping from the caliper half. Now, it did feel wet down there, but that does look like where it would all kind of connect to anyway. So yeah, excuse the waffle, pretty defeated at the moment. Been a long old project and it's cost quite a lot of money, and I'm that close to having to buy more calipers or sacking them off altogether. I can't even put the old ones back on because there's no pads left in them. So fortunately I got the K11, so we are mobile. Let's hope that this is an easy fix. I was going to go out for a drive, but I'm pretty confident I can see where it's leaking from because it's pulled up all the powder coat. So yeah, I'm going to do one side at a time. Helicoil the bleed nipples. I think where the banjo goes in as well, make sure that's super flat, and also take a couple mil off the banjo bolt that I'm using. The 350Z uses a hard line, it doesn't use a banjo bolt, and the Stagea banjo bolts were much too long. I've got some shorter ones which were okay, but I think they're bottoming out, so there might be a bit of leakage from that side as well. But yeah, let's hope it's fixable and not a write-off. So here we are again. First thing I'm going to do is get the pads out before disconnecting anything. Hopefully they've not been contaminated already. They look okay from what I can see from the outside. And then I've got some bungs. I'm going to tape up the line and then drain the caliper and then helicoil and flatten that face there and take a couple mil off of the banjo bolt and hope for the best. The good news is the pads came out dry. We got them in the CD bag, got that disconnected. All the bungs I got are a bit too big, so take that up, zip tied that up. Little top tip, I put that, there's no load on that, I put that zip tie on backwards and then I can reuse it pretty easy if I need to in the future. Pretty genius. So yeah, I'm going to get the caliper off and then drain them through the bleed nipples into a little waste pot and then take them into the dining room workshop and have a play with some helicoils. Right, we're back in the dining room workshop. First thing I'm going to do is just check the torque, see whether it's still at 62, see whether I can take it a little bit further. Did feel pretty full on when I did that on these ones, but anyway. Then what I'm going to do, this is what I was saying about the flat surface. On the 350Z, this is a hard line, so there's no banjo there. I buzzed it a little bit to make it look pretty, but it's definitely not flat, so I've got a file. I'm going to file that flat. I'm going to put a blob of hot glue inside, just on the port, so that hopefully that will stop anything going down or any filings will get caught in that. So yeah, I'm going to get that better. I've made, I can't find it, but I'll show you in a minute, a little jig out of a clip to trim the banjo bolt. Probably do that with a hacksaw rather than the grinder, and then tidy it up with a Dremel bit if I need to. I just spotted one out the corner of my eye. So yeah, we'll start with that bit and then we'll get helicoiling. Possibly the easiest part of that went well. Filed that flat and then went over it with some 800 and then 1200, and now that is pretty shiny. I'm happy with that. Next thing I'm going to do is trim the bolt. So I found a little clip which I think will be perfect. Oh, on focus. There we go. So I'll shimmy that up to the end of the thread here and then chop off this end, and I think that will take off just enough. I'm also want to use copper washers, unlike the ones which came with these bolts. I'll show you them when we get outside. But yeah, the bolt was too long to use copper washers yesterday, so I used those other ones, but I don't think they're all that good. So just going to give these a trim, and then we'll flip the calipers up 90 degrees and start helicoiling. Okay, on to the next bit. I trimmed down the banjo bolt. I gave it a little internal chamfer, bevel, countersink, yeah. And I just cleared out the thread on the port there because that was a bit grotted up. That's now really snug. I'm happy with that. Looking at these, it is hand tight, but there is wobble in there, and I reckon that's what's caused the leak. So I'm about to helicoil. Really, you should probably be doing this. Really, you shouldn't be doing this. But I'm so far deep. I'm gonna try. Even if you're not gonna do it, you should probably do it with the pillar drill. I don't have one of those, so I'm gonna be using my engineer's eye and the Makita. Bought a helicoil kit. I bought that anyway for one of the front ones, so I knew that was a bit dodge. Luckily there's enough helicoils here to do all of them, so I'm just going to do that. So we got a 10.3mm bit to drill it out, a weird marking on the tap there. Fortunately it's not much of a taper. I was a bit worried it wouldn't go in far enough, but the thread's pretty deep anyway. And then we got some M10x1 helicoils. So let's see how we go. What have we got to lose? Alright, chilling that out went surprisingly well. I put a blob of hot glue in, let that sink just to seal it so that it caught any swarf, and then it worked super well because the drill bit hit it and it kind of stuck to the drill bit and it made sure nothing got in, I don't think. I also had the hoover going at the same time, but even still that worked better than I thought. So Tom's top tip, hot glue gun in your ports before you drill them. Worked the treat with the tap as well. You can see how it kind of squidged it in until it bottomed out, but nothing got through, and when I pulled it back out it looked beautiful. So let's get helicoil in and see how good that thread is with the nipple in. Okay, so just to recap, we oversized the hole with a 10.3, then run a ST 10x1. This came in the kit, and I'll put a link to the kit because for 11 quid through Amazon Prime it was pretty comprehensive. And then you get a spring and an applicator and a little collar there to adjust it to where it needs to go. I've had to slide it right up to the end because obviously it's not a very deep hole. And then somehow after you've got it all screwed in, you need to snap off that little edge. So we'll see how we go with that. I might flip it round and do it from the top. I don't know, I'll work it out. I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, so I've already ruined one, obviously. Fortunately there's 10 and I need 8. I've put the second one in now and it looks a lot better. Basically I overwound it. These are a bit too long, so what I'm going to do is get the actual nipple in there and then somehow break off the excess spring which is outside, and hopefully that should be all good. Well, I think that was somewhat successful. I've just been out for the same test drive as I went on yesterday to bed in the brakes. I've come back and it's not oozing, there's no drips with inside the wheel like there was yesterday, and in fact the other side looks pretty good as well. So I'm still going to strip it down and give it the works because the other side looked like it was dripping even more yesterday. So just to be on the safe side, get these helicoils in and all sorted and stuff. So I'm going to fly ahead and just get that done, and I'll report back later, see whether that solved that side. Right, I'm calling that a success. So just been on another test drive, having done the second caliper, no leaks. The lacquer's peeling off, so another time, I've had enough of it for now, but another time I'm going to take some thinners to that, get the lacquer off, get the sticker off. The sticker on the other side's already come through, and I'll probably do that on the fronts before they fit them. Not going to do them for probably a couple of weeks now. I really needed to do the rears, my pads were worn out. But I've got my lad now for the next 2 weeks. We're going away. I don't really want to be immobile again like we were this weekend. So I'm going to say peace out. Also, thanks to all the new subscribers. Since November, which was like our last upload, and then when I checked yesterday, we've kind of doubled. We've gone from 60 to 120 odd. So thanks a lot for that. It means a lot. Hope you're enjoying the video, and I'll post the front calipers when I get round to doing them. Cheers.